Things just took a shocking turn as we are now less than 24 hours away from the Mitch Marner saga coming to a close. We have a brand new report revealing some shocking information surrounding Vegas and Toronto's details in a sign and trade, and things have just flipped on their head. We're going to break that down as well as discuss a new report from Darren Dreger revealing some clarity surrounding the whole situation. We also have a tidbit from Elliot Freeman and some more information surrounding the blackmail the Leafs are committing against the Vegas Golden Knights, folks. There's a ton to go over today, but before we get into it all, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, you guys have been absolutely fantastic with the support here, and news is going to be flying like crazy. So if you're part of that 71%, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, you're going to want to stay tuned to the end of the video. Make sure to do that because there's some interesting tidbits at the end. Things have taken a complete turn here late last night. I'm talking past midnight. So technically early this morning, past midnight, late last night, a bomb dropped out of nowhere. And stay tuned to the end here for a Darren Dreger update. But Elliot Freeman and Darren Dreger, shout out to him. He's been on the ball here. Nick Hague is being traded to Nashville, and he was heavily rumored in the sign and trade from Vegas to the Leafs in the Mitch Marner deal. It was Nick Waugh and it was Nick Hague. Of course, Nicholas Waugh being the main guy and the most confirmed one from Freeman himself. But Darius, things have taken a complete shift here now. Hague will not be included in the Mitch Marner sign and trade, and you can see why, because he signed a 4x5.5. But now the question remains, will A, Mitch Marner even be traded to Vegas, and B, what the return will be now, because things have taken, I guess you could say, an unfortunate turn, depending on what the return is.
Yeah, depending how you want to look at it. Now, this doesn't mean that Nick Hague wasn't actually included in the trade proposal to the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's still possible he was and it didn't work out,
Initially,
or that, initially, and it just fell through. Now, the Maple Leafs, there's no way they could have afforded Nick Hague at that dollar amount. He got more than I thought he was going to. Good for him, by the way. I think that he's a really good defenseman, and he's going to show, obviously, Nashville that he's a lot more than just what he was in Vegas. But when you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs side of things, I still think, and we're going to get to another report from Darren Dreger in a minute, that this is not over yet. This is definitely not over yet. There's another quote and report from Elliot Freeman that, I'm not going to come out and say that Vegas has done anything wrong. We don't know for sure. And there's no evidence out there in the public eye. But from everything, we're hearing right now from different insiders, there's going to be an investigation if they do not complete this sign and trade. The Maple Leafs are going to trigger an investigation. That's really what it is sounding like, for tampering. And I mean, there's a lot of rumors flying around, a lot of chatter between GMs and people who work in the league that the league is ready to make an example out of somebody, and they're going to bring the hammer down on one team in particular. And there's a lot of noise around Vegas. So, just putting two and two together at this point. So if you're the league, and I want to throw this back to you, Nick, too, like if you're the league and you're hearing all of this, wouldn't you conduct your own investigation anyway into this? Like, that's what I'm thinking at this point. I don't even know if you need the Toronto Maple Leafs to be like, actually take a look at that. There might be something wrong there. But this is the penalty, as you can see here. We brought it up in our previous videos as well. No team wants to get hammered with this. This would be disastrous for the Vegas Golden Knights. So I feel like they are being pinned into a corner, but they're trying to shed some cap still. The Pietrangelo thing doesn't really affect it. You really do need to shed some more cap. If you're Vegas, you can only be a certain percentage over the cap, even during the off season, right? You can't just like add a bunch of players and say, we'll figure it out in August. It doesn't work that way. So they still need to shed some cap. So this is getting very crazy. It took another shocking turn. I feel like the Leafs would be okay with just Nick Waugh. I feel like they would totally be okay with just a piece, but they were probably like, hey, it'd be nice if we got a defenseman as well. And I feel like they could still get another piece. It's just not going to be Nick Hague at this point.
Yeah, and they probably went through negotiations. Said, okay, we're not paying them that amount of money because we have Brandon Carlo. And you mentioned it there. Darren Dreger came out again late last night, past midnight, and said, currently where we're at is that there's ongoing talks between Vegas and the Maple Leafs. There's no guarantee they get something done, but I expect they will, but there's no guarantee. So he expects they will get something done, which is very positive news. And that was lost in all this because right after that, 30 minutes after, Nicholas Hague got signed, I guess traded and signed to Nashville. So yeah, I think it's going to happen still, probably just for Nicholas Waugh. That's probably just the most likely outcome. Maybe a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, 5th round pick, anything at this point to help, hinder help soften the blow rather for Mitch Marner leaving for nothing when they could have traded him. But yeah, it becomes very interesting now. And again, Darren Dreger saying that he thinks it's going to happen. I am pretty confident that sometime today we will get a Mitch Marner trade. Now, if it doesn't happen today, keep in mind it can't happen then, because then he's just an unrestricted free agent. He will go and do what he wants. So today is the telling day. This is judgment day for Mitch Marner and Brad Treliving here and all the front offices. They have to get something done. Hopefully they do. And according to Darren Dreger with the latest update, a ton of news came out late last night. So they're killing us here with these past midnight bombs. But it is what it is. Nicholas Hague being traded to Nashville. And touching on what you said now, let's dive into the speculation about a potential tampering issue going on here in the blackmail. This also came out late last night. Elliot Friedman, the league sent another memo this week about tampering. These GMs are on alert. They think somebody is going to get hammered. And we would assume this is the Vegas Golden Knights. And of course, there's been a lot of talk. We covered it in our videos, covered it in our streams about how, Toronto's extorting Vegas. You can see there in the original tweet by leaking A, before July 1st, and B, amidst a reported sign and trade discussions. This comes off as Toronto extorting Vegas. And it is possible if that's the case. Of course, they traded away Nick Hague. Doesn't really change the situation much here, but it seems like the Leafs are going to go after the Vegas Golden Knights if tampering, if a trade doesn't go through. And that's why today is such a big day here. But yeah, it's an interesting way to put it. I saw some of you guys in the comments saying it as well. Like, it is blackmail to a degree if that's what's happening. But again, it is just word of mouth at this point and what Elliot Friedman is speculating rather than reporting here. But I think either way, we're in for some action. Either we get a trade, we get assets back, or there's going to be a lengthy negotiation, or rather a lengthy, whole report about extorting.
With everything that's come out to this point, I do believe that Mitch Marner, a sign and trade is going to happen for Mitch Marner, and they're going to get something done with the Vegas Golden Knights. I would imagine it's Nick Waugh. I don't know. I don't even know if there's another piece involved. I feel like the Leafs would be okay getting something back. Like I said earlier in the video, I think they would be okay with that. And Dreger saying that talks are ongoing. They're trying to get this done, which also tells me that there probably is some tampering stuff going on behind the scenes. Again, I don't want to say that they actually did it, but I feel like it's kind of leaning towards that way, right? So with everything that's come out over the weekend, and again, I think if you're the league, a lot of people are going to say, oh, this is the Leafs blackmailing and all that stuff. Of course, it's always about the Toronto Maple Leafs and that they're the bad guy. Of course, I get it. But, when you look at the other side of things, if you're the league and everything that's happened this weekend, do you not at least poke around? Like, is the red light not going off where you're like, there might be something wrong here? I think it's pretty interesting. So we'll see what the return is if it ends up happening. But I think the other interesting thing, Nick, here to, pay attention to over the next 24 hours, because again, they can get this trade done, I believe, until 12 p.m. on July 1st, when free agency officially opens up, is that if this doesn't get done, Marner goes to free agency and signs immediately with the Vegas Golden Knights. What the Toronto Maple Leafs do, I think that's the most interesting thing. If that scenario plays out, what do the Leafs do? Do they file, some type of thing where it's like, hey, launch an investigation into the Vegas Golden Knights for tampering, and then they get some compensation back, of course, and then the Vegas Golden Knights get fined, and they can't even sign Mitch Marner after all of that as well, which is pretty crazy. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I'm more interested in that timeline, I guess, right now to see what happens with that. But I think the best case scenario here is Brad Living. I mean, after the tidy work he's done this weekend, extending John Tavares and Matthew Nyes, if he can get a asset back for Mitch Marner, pretty good work.
Yeah, let's just clue it up, get an asset back, and we can move on from this tampering thing for the time being. And again, in case you guys are wondering here, defenseman Alex Pietrangelo is dealing with a serious injury and is going to require multiple major surgeries. So his season is going to be over as well, which is also very unfortunate news for him, the player, having to miss the rest of the year. It might even be the end of his career. So hopefully that's not the case, and best wishes to to him and his family over there. But regardless of that, Darius, it's going to be wild. And we're going to keep you up to date all the way through. Reports keep coming out. And folks, Nick Hague is not going to be a part of the package. Let's see what Brad Treliving can pull off, because it's going to be crazy, crazy next 24 hours.